Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah channel. Thank you for tuning in this morning. We're just going to chat. We're going to get right back into it right after this quick and beautiful prayer.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judgest, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
Welcome back and assalamu alaikum. How's everyone doing today? What y'all sipping on? I made some fresh ginger, lemon, orange, cayenne, turmeric tonic or tea, I guess you could say. It's really hot and soothing as it goes down your throat. It's amazing this time of the year. I didn't have any cinnamon sticks, but you could serve this to your guests and just put a little cinnamon stick in there for decoration. Get you a nice, pretty mug. I love this one because it just allows you to see what you're drinking. And it's a good soothing tonic. It's good for your immune system, good for inflammation. Good to keep everything down there, fresh so you don't get bad breath and you're not like blowing people away, especially, if you got any stomach issues and stuff like that. Brother Lamont said he was about to have a ginger shot. Yeah. So basically this is sort of what it is, but it's hot. And so you just sip it. So as you're sipping it, it's going to not only deodorize your mouth and palate, your esophagus, down in your belly, but it's just cleansing and moving like you rinsing yourself out. And these kind of things, it's always going to be good for your skin, your circulation, just other, a whole bunch of other health aspects. But, it's important, especially if you fast a lot, be conscious of your breath. It's nothing like that fasting breath. And some of us have stomach issues, and the stomach issues produce, can produce like a rotten or a sulfuric type of smell. And you want to be cognizant of that kind of thing. And just make sure you don't need a cleanse. Maybe you need to go get you a colonic. Maybe there's something going on down there. And so, I try to continue to do things that are going to make sure that I'm staving off any dis-ease or discomfort or anything that could be brewing because of energy we've had access to, thoughts we've been thinking, fear has a smell, anger has a smell. It's all vibrational, right? Happiness has a smell. It's a frequency that you can get on or off. And so you just want to make sure that you're monitoring your body. So your body will even smell the way you feel or what you're practicing most in your life. And so even if you're about to get sick, about to get the flu, this is the thing about all these things that alter your internal nature or how your body functions, because then it becomes difficult for you to gauge where you are and how you're doing. So that's important. You should be able to tell by your skin, the tone of your skin. When you touch your skin, how does it feel? That ought to tell you, if I need a little water, do I need to moisturize? What do I need to do? Am I a little inflamed? Sometimes we have a reaction to certain food that we eat. This is where I think I've told you all this story, and how I was just born extremely sensitive. Okay. I'm not altogether sure on an epigenetic level where it comes from. On both sides of my family, there are very, very spiritual lineages. On the maternal side, there is the spiritual lineage of people who came here as healers, or came here and served as healers. Going back several years, people who healed. And I think it's why when I went into the medical industry, what I didn't know, that I had a knack for it. And I was able to learn very quickly and learn a lot, get an honorary doctorate and all of that stuff. I have to say I'm not a clinical doctor, but because of that epigenetic inheritance. And in the immediate generations, the past 2 or 3, my family were, they were the healers, kind of the spiritual people, and some of them were in a position where they could actually heal for a living because they traveled with their master, ended up going from West Africa down to Haiti, and then from Haiti to Louisiana. So I'm both Haitian and Louisiana Creole. You don't want to mess with me. Some stuff will pop out from ancestry that I ain't know nothing about. Yeah. So, and then on the other side, there's a long history of the women being very dedicated spiritually. Really, really dedicated, strong women who were committed to the church on a long-term basis. And then both of my ancestry is Fulani. So on both sides of my family, I have Muslim roots, which makes sense that I would gravitate towards Islam as my foundation. I remember awakening to the energy of Islam as early as a little girl. I remember seeing it maybe around 3rd grade or so in a history book, a world history book. World history became one of my favorite subjects because of that. And I remember reading about the early Muslims and their battles during Prophet Muhammad's time, peace be upon him. And I just remember being so attracted to it, but not here. And in the core of my body, I could feel a settling and a familiarity. And I didn't know what it was, but I knew that it was something. And I remember even, and I've told this story many times, as a little girl, watching my uncle sit in the living room or the den at my grandmother's house with a Jet magazine that had the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's face on the front of it. And it says something like Muslim leader dies. And if you know anything about me, I've been reading on my own since I was like 3 or 4. So I read everything. So I'm reading that. And I remember, interestingly enough, I couldn't see that well when I was a little girl. And I just remember staring at him, making sure that I was reading it correctly. And I couldn't read the rest of it. And I could see, his face a bit. And my uncle was sitting there, had his leg crossed, had a beer. He was just reading the Jet. And that feeling that I got in my core, that was the same feeling I later felt as I started to study Islam in history class. And I just remember going, what is that? And when he put the beer down and put the magazine down, y'all remember them old school metal TV trays? My grandmother had them next to her chairs. And I got up and grabbed the magazine off of the TV stand and ran upstairs and put it under the pillow in my room. Now, I grew up one of these very spoiled little people. So I had a room at my grandmother's house. I had a room at home at my mom's house. I put it upstairs under the pillow in my room. And later that night, I just remember going back to that feeling. And it was something about getting comfortable with that vibration. And I just kept looking at it. I read it front to back. I didn't know what it was. And I kept it under there for so long. I think it got all tattered. And I think eventually my grandmother must have thrown it away or removed it or something. But getting yourself familiar and attached to that feeling, that energy, that vibration is very important. And then even later, meeting the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, working for him, being in a position as a very young Muslim to be trained. It was an energy. And then as I began to travel around the world and I longed to be home and to be doing something for my nation, I would pull on that energy. That's an energy that had kept popping up throughout my life. And it was not only very comforting, but very powerful, a very, very powerful energy that I was able to access as I move around the world. It's why I can tell you today with certainty that you should grab a lecture from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You should grab a lecture from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And I'm going to tell you something. I don't even care what race you are. Grab a lecture and learn. The beautiful thing now is we have Final Call Radio. You got earbuds. You got different things that you can watch and listen, and nobody got to know or be in your business. Nobody got to know. And then you'll begin to familiarize yourself with an energy that ties you with a way of living that then affects your decisions, affects how you move, affects how your body moves, affects your success levels. Listen, this thing is deep. Because once you have a certain amount of knowledge and you're doing the basics, trust me, you don't know whether you are a believer or not until you are tried. You don't know. You don't know until you get in a position and you're out up over your skis and you're going, oh boy, okay, Allah, I'm too tired to flap my wings. So if you don't be the wind beneath my wings, then I am going to crash. And then and in that, what I describe metaphorical moment, you're making decisions based on this power outside of yourself. When you hear people talking about recession, inflation, and this is going to happen, you have the ability to go to a place, not only where you say to yourself, that ain't got nothing to do with me, but you go to a place where you believe in yourself so wholeheartedly that you use that belief system to make decisions about how you move through the matrix, whether it's a recession, an inflation, somebody telling you this or that is going to happen. And I believe so wholeheartedly, I don't care how bad it gets. I don't care if the whole dollar crashes, flattens, and falls, and I got to drive a gas car and go to the gas station and get gas, and ain't none of us got no money. And if the gas station attendant is saying, bring me 20 apples and you can fill up your tank, I have every reason to believe that I will have the 20 apples and then some to fill up my tank. That's how much I know that Allah is with me. Are you believing what they're saying about you? Are you walking around here with a limited belief system? Is your income limited or stagnant because of your belief system? See, let me tell you something. If you over here going, I've been making $80,000 a year, I can't get off that mark. Or I got in that space where I was making $250 and I was like, I don't know how to pivot off of this, because I had to work on pivoting my belief system. And many times you cannot do it by yourself. If you don't have people around you, podcasts like this that you can go to that are giving you mental strategies and tools on how to navigate this world of business, and you find yourself on that hamster wheel, then you got to think about, what do I need to scrub? We've been talking about the end of the year coming and scrubbing our lives. Go through and scrub. Let's do some winter end of the year cleanup. What do I need to work on? What are my belief systems that need to work on? And a lot of times you just need to be around somebody that can spark it for you, because you can't spark it yourself. Because if you could, you would already do it. You need to listen to a program. You need to get a coach. You need to do something that sparks an elevation in your belief system. And you want to do it before you have to go through a trial in order to get there. See, because God wants you. So what you got to go through to get to him, I don't know that he necessarily cares. He loves us, gives us grace, gives us mercy and all of that. But if you can just stay where you at and vibrate at the level that you're at and get whatever is coming to that level of vibration, or you can say, hey, I want to elevate. I want to rise above all that. It's not that God is sitting there going, let me dog her out so she can believe in me more. Don't look at it like that. We like to look at God and put him in the context of how we put a man, a dude. I'm talking to us as women, or as men even, that's how we look at it. Like it's some big white man, big slave master in the sky that's like, look, until you do right by me. No. We are just elevating up out of, I keep using that word, out of a matrix, up out of an energetic space to a new set point. So when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad came and taught us who we are and told us what Master Farah Muhammad taught him about the measurements of the earth and where we were and who we are and who we should accept and loving ourselves, the knowledge of God and the devil and all of these things, it gave us a new set point. A new set point. And it didn't matter what your background is. I just told you I come from both Haitian and Creole background. That don't matter. It don't matter how much of a priestess or a shaman or how spiritual you think you are. You have to figure out how to elevate beyond where you are, because guess what? People will start to see you slipping. You're going to mess up because that's not the true basis of your belief system. And I'm going to tell you something else. Because some of us really, really do believe in that big slave master in the sky, we'll go to church, we'll go to mosque, we'll go to synagogue, we'll come up with, we'll gain access to a different level of thinking. And we'll have everybody around us thinking how much we love, almost to the point of obsession. But when we operate on a day-to-day basis, how we interact with people, how we treat people, how we think is based on that belief system that we got from the great slave master in the sky. I hope y'all hearing me today, because we say one thing out of our mouth, but then we conduct ourselves differently. And that's fine if that's how you want to live, but at some point you're going to have to either reconcile the two or get rid of one. So a lot of us go, okay, well, I believe, I learned this in church, I learned this at the mosque, I learned this over here. But when it comes to my everyday life, I'm really operating based on the matrix. So one of the beautiful ways in which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad scientifically transforms our lives is through a lifestyle change. And on a shallow level, we think the lifestyle change is just clothing, diet. So we think it's about the way we look and how we present. And in some cases, we will follow the dietary if we feel like it. And all those things are extremely important aspects of the new way of being. But the question becomes, how are you thinking? How are you functioning? What is the technical foundation of your life? And how are you applying what you're learning to the decision making that you have to do? Not whether or not you're going to move here or there, not whether or not you're going to buy this car or that, but how are you going to handle that person you don't like? How are you going to handle tweaking and scrubbing your belief system so that you get to that next level? How are you going to handle it if you become in charge? If you're in power, if you get that big job, if your business elevates, how do you handle it? We talked yesterday about how you handle the type of enemy and the type of so-called friends you have around you at $100,000 is different from how you handle them at $1 million or even at 10 million. Different levels, different mindsets, different ways in which you have to navigate the world, different ways in which you have to respond to people. So you can't be functioning on $100,000 level if you are trying to be at $1 million level, a $10 million level, or a $1 billion level. Different ways of functioning and conducting yourself. People who have been through the level that you're on can see the level that you're on, even though you're posting up and posturing like you're on another level. We can see based on how you're functioning. See, if you understand that everything is vibration, I can tell by the way you move what vibrational level you are on. And if you still being a hater, if you still disliking people, if you still not taking care of yourself, if you're still not thinking and handling yourself on a level beyond the one that you're on, then I already know what results you're getting. And guess what? Your enemy knows what results you're getting out of life, because all they got to do is watch how you move. See, this stuff is not necessarily rocket science, because we're so used to hiding from the quote unquote slave master. We carry that epigenetics down. And so we act a certain way when we go on the plantation. And then when we get home, we cut loose, we cut up. What are we doing here? So how you move tells me how you're thinking. It's all about how you move. When I listen to the tone of your voice, I could see it, I could feel it, I could taste it, I could touch it. If you make everybody your enemy, it tells me what kind of trauma you've been through. If you got issues with control, where a person, anybody around you, you got to control them down to a T, or if somebody works for you, applies for a job, you're their boss and y'all work for somebody else, whatever. But if you're in charge, you are so controlling that they have to lose themselves in order to even roll with you, then it tells me what kind of trauma you've been through. But don't worry about me. It tells your enemy what kind of trauma you're in. So an enemy who understands how this kind of thing is, if they just observe you, they already know how to control you, where to go to sabotage you, how to take you down, how to manipulate everything around you, because they already know how that consistent trauma is impacting the people around you. And so they can easily just pick them off. But, so this is how deep the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan are, is that when it teaches you those granular levels of self-improvement, how to deal with the isms, the sexism, the racism, all of these things that are out here designed to control you. When you start learning on a granular level how to deal with that, and when you start learning how to make decisions, whether it's at work, whether it's at the grocery store, whatever decisions you're making is within that framework of the vibration and the new set point that they're giving us, you start seeing different results. The minute you start navigating in trauma, trying to control people, trying to own people, destroying people that you can't control, hurting people that don't look like you or don't move the way you want them to move. When you start doing that kind of stuff, in the face of these great men who have sacrificed their life and have such deep love for their people, you're gonna meet a doom really fast. And so we have to make sure that we're careful of that in our businesses. And I know sometimes these are very uncomfortable conversations, because a lot of times we feel hit. And I don't mean it that way. I really honestly mean it, because I want to see us build an economy as a people that is introducing the much needed goods and services in our community. Our community is suffering. And it's suffering as a collective because we all are suffering as individuals. And we're suffering because of all of these issues, all of these traumas, all of these challenges that we have. And then now you have the new thing. Everybody's going to see a coach. People are getting counseling. They're working. They're doing all kind of things to get this stuff up off of them. They're getting audited, all of this stuff. But then when you come up out of all of that, what is your belief system? What do you believe about yourself? And what do you believe about this matrix you're trying to unplug from? Because I'm telling you, and I've been saying this, and those of you who are in the chat who either know me or been on this podcast, there is a massive amount of wealth and love and good homes and friendships and all walks of life that is on the immediate horizon for those of us who accept our own and are ourselves. Forget what you see. Forget when you see people who are being other than themselves making millions of dollars. Because what happens there is then we get controlled by the people who are holding that above our heads. And then whether or not they tell it or not, share it or not, people up on us looking at all of our negativity, looking at all the deviations, they hold that over our heads. And so now we're working to hide it. So then all of our decisions become, let me hide the ways in which I've been other than myself. And I've been other than myself for so long and for so much that now I got an enemy that is threatening to take what I made, the hundreds of millions, from me if I don't do what they say. Otherwise, they're going to expose me. So we're not talking about living that type of life. I'm talking about the massive blessings. I believe it's going to start coming in 2025. For those of us who have accepted our own and are ourselves, have decided to get out here, do for self, function, and rely on a power greater than ourselves. I'm not taking nothing against anybody who's still working. If you're still on the plantation, that's fine. Because some of us got to be there too. I'm not taking anything away from anybody. And I'm sorry if you get offended because I'm calling it the plantation, but that's just a little slang, little Muslim slang. There's a massive, and there's nothing nobody can do about it. That's what I want to tell you. So don't get scared because the massive amount of abundance is coming our way in 2025. Don't get scared and think, yeah, but every time we get something, the white man takes it away from it. I'm telling you, if we accept our own, be ourselves, and learn how to take these principles that he is teaching us and incorporating them into our businesses, into our way of life, gaining access to people and a community that is beyond what the matrix would have us connect to. Being around people that support us, that love us, that have skills, that are help us, that are pointing us in the right direction. I'm telling you, I've been believing that this day is coming so strongly now that I really honestly believe that it's on the horizon. It's right around the corner. And that's why I don't hesitate if I can support somebody or help them in their mission to do for self, to accept their own and be their self. I'm telling you, and you all know me in this chat, I'm Johnny on the spot. Because I believe in the wellspring that is bubbling up right beneath our feet. What? A lot of people say, well, no, I don't believe that. Everything gonna be destroyed. It's gonna be famine. It's gonna be all of this. Yeah. Okay. Well, what are you and I going to be doing in the midst of the famine? Who's going to rebuild the wasted cities? Who's going to be the leaders in the community during the famine? See, interesting in that somebody said it to me like this. They said, you all as Muslims in the Nation of Islam have a burden on you that we don't have. This is a person that I know who's a Muslim, but not in the nation. And I said, well, what is that burden? They said, the burden you all have is the burden of resurrection. The burden of having to resurrect your people. And I said, okay, let's talk about that. Because you see it as a burden. This is he and I talking. I say, you see it as a burden. I see it as a gift. I know I'm in the resurrection business. I have no doubt about it. I know it is my job to teach and train and to offer wisdom and knowledge to those that don't have it. Clear, hands down. Because I'm also striving to align and be like my Father. See, you can't say to me that, and this is going to get controversy on this, what I said to him. I said, you can't say to me that you're following Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, if you're not doing what he did and if his mission is not at the forefront of your mind. It's one thing, okay, you go to Juma, you go pray, you put on your, whatever you wear based on your background. In our case, sometimes it's a uniform, sometimes not, whatever. You put on all of that. And you don't have his mission at the forefront of your mission to the point where it's become a way of life, then I'm straight. I'm good on what you're doing. He's like, what? I said, no, I'm okay. I'm gonna stay over here with the minister. Why? Because if his mission becomes my mission and I fold his mission into whatever I showed up on the planet to do, then everywhere I go, I'm helping the Father. Everywhere I go, I'm an ambassador. I'm doing something to make people think, I heard in the press that they were crazy, that they were mean, that they were hateful people. But I met Sister Sajdah. I got an opportunity to work for Wendy Muhammad, however you know me. I got an opportunity to interact with her. And not only was she a great friend and a great support system, she gave me access to information, to opportunities, to a level of abundance. She was an asset to me. And this is who she says she represent and she followed. Then I met somebody else, and it didn't seem like that. It seemed like they was on what I was on. You see the difference? Talk to me in the chat if you see the difference. Let me acknowledge y'all in the chat. I've been looking at some of the comments as you all. I saw you, Brother Lamont. I saw you there. He talked about the ginger shot and gave you all the greetings. I see Nubia Latifa says, good morning, all. I see Sister Alita in the building says, Assalamu alaikum. Morning blessings, family. Wa alaikum salam, family. Who else we got? Sister Aurelia, she says, grand rising, traveling in Indian country today. somewhere in the Southwest. All praises due to Allah. Give the greetings and the vibrations to our indigenous brothers and sisters who, many of whom were here before Columbus. They came before Columbus. Okay, I got Sister Amira Muhammad in the house. She says all praises due to Allah. Beautiful. We got RJ Funches says ASA, great morning. All right. I see y'all speaking to each other. Let me scroll down here. Pivot our belief systems. Scrub them. Scrub them. Go through every belief system, everything you believe about yourself. You need some help? Go out to dinner with a friend that you know knows this kind of stuff. Scrub your belief systems. Scrub them. What do we believe? What do we believe about ourselves? Do we say we believe in God and disbelieve in ourselves? Huh? Because a lot of us will preach Jesus all day long. A lot of us will preach Muhammad all day long, but we don't believe in ourselves. We watching, we fed into the propaganda. We're so afraid that when the new regime takes office that, something is going to happen. But what is your belief system in yourself and the God that you serve? Now, some people have said to me, you know what, but, Wendy, you all, it's too much God talk. It's too much Allah talk. Why can't you all just talk about business? Because business is the activity of life, as we've been taught. And in that activity of life, being in alignment with Almighty God Allah is what is important to us. So being in that alignment means that we are not afraid to approach our business in a spiritual manner. And if you study anybody, any millionaire and billionaires, they got some belief system that they're applying as they're doing business. And so that's what we're doing. And so we're taught to be civilized, to function at a higher level. You should be able to hire us or do business with us and experience granular levels of morality and civilization like you've never seen or experienced before. It should be so powerful and so beautiful doing business with us and interacting with us that you can't wait to tell your people about it. That's how we're trained. That's how we're trained. We are in the resurrection business. So Sister Marvelous Marva is here. I see you, sis. I see you, Sandra D. Sandra D, let us know how you enjoyed your oud oils. Wa alaikum salam. She said, happy winter solstice. All right. Brother Mandine, assalamu alaikum, sir. Brother Mandine is one of our great entrepreneurs, and he is also a host on Crow TV. So you got to go and check him out. Go follow him. Sister Aurelia, Sister Zakia is also here. Assalamu alaikum, my dear sister, Sister Zakia. She says Boston via Atlanta. All right. Sister Angela Yasin Muhammad says, yes, I needed these words. Welcome, sis. Welcome. That's right, sis. Self-improvement, the basis. Sometimes we forget the rest of that. Self-improvement, the basis of community development. So developing our community, when we watch TV and we're complaining like, oh my God, look at all this is going on in our community. Where does it start? Where does the improvement and the development of our community start? With self. With self. I don't care if it's a sub-community, if it's your sorority, if it's your mosque, if it's your household. It starts with self-improvement. You want to see more involvement? You want to see more activity? You want to see people do things differently? Then let's start with self-improvement. All right. We got, let's see, DeMarco Dawson. Accept your own and be yourself. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Assalamu alaikum. Yeah, don't get scared. Accept your own. Be yourself. That is exactly right. Accept your own and be yourself. And being Chris TV is in the house. Thank you. Yep, scrub your belief systems. Trends, economy, I think that's supposed to be. I think. ASA family, walaikum salam family. Thank you, and thank you. Let's see. I see y'all popping and talking. Okay. Thank you for the information, Sister Sajdah. A reminder is a blessing. Yes, all praises due to Allah. Thank you so much for paying attention today. Scrub your belief system. Self-improvement, the basis of community development. Get back into our self-improvement study guides. Share the wisdom and knowledge. Fold those study guides into your HR policies. When I work with clients, we're putting the principles of our study guides in the policies and procedures, in the HR policies. When we start talking about creating policies and procedures, how are our teachings folded into that? And what I'm talking about is your everyday conduct. How do we deal with misinformation? How do we deal with slack talk and gossip? How do we deploy the scales of justice in our business? How are we when it comes to privacy? How are we when it comes to people's intimate information that we learn as business owners? See, because as a business owner, you see a lot, you hear a lot. People go through stuff and they're going to be telling you, they're going to be talking to you. And here's the other piece of it. And Orlando Gardner, walaikum salam, welcome. Absolutely love the oud oil on me. Okay, Sister Sandra ordered some oud oil. My Sajdah oud oil. She said, absolutely love the oud oil on me and in the air. It put me on another level. Thanks. All praises due to Allah. Okay. Displaying and deploying the scales of justice. How do we make sure that that balance is there? And what I was going to say is that something I've been being prepared for this for years, although I didn't know it. And it got to the point where I remember when I left Chicago and I just started traveling and working on projects. First, it was all around the country. And I became very keen and keenly aware of the culture in different cities. When I say culture in different cities, I mean the business culture in different cities. So if I was in Boston, just made me think, may Allah be pleased with our brother, Minister Don Muhammad, who transitioned this week. And we'll talk about that, inshallah, a little bit later. If I'm in Boston, I can tell the business culture, not only of the city, but of the industry. And so I started, for some reason, just being very much aware of different cultures. I remember having a big project in New Orleans and understanding the work culture there, and San Francisco. And then after a while, when I got a little tired, I started saying, okay, Allah, I really want to just come back home. I want to do something back home. And I guess the universe was like, nope, she got some more work to do. And then I started getting work and doing things internationally, Africa, Asia, and understanding the cultures throughout Africa. You got 54 different countries in Africa. So, understanding that and being very conscious of culture, but developing a muscle where I know how to be myself regardless of the culture that I'm in, whether it's a corporate culture, a a geographical culture, whatever it is, understanding how to be myself and how to represent who I am was critical. Because then later in developing this amazing museum experience that I'm working on, I have to deal with people from all walks of life, various different spaces and religion. And I have to know how to deal with people who don't necessarily believe the way I believe. And so how do I maintain respect levels with someone? And how do I handle people who are disrespectful? How do I handle people who are respectful? How do I handle people who look like me, people who don't look like me, who believe like me, who don't believe like me, who live around me, who don't live around me? So that diversity and learning how to deal with those levels of diversity is a skill set that Allah had been helping me with over the years. And so being able to be myself, and the beautiful thing is when you start learning how to be down with you, then you're not going to care with those that are with people who are not down with you, even if it's a big person. I'm so confident in who I am that if you just decide that you got a random problem with me because I know how I move, then it 9 times out of 10 is your problem. And I'm not saying that to be negative, because I'm so conscious that even if I do something wrong to offend you, I'm going to double back. I'm going to double back and say, oh, wait a minute. Let me apologize. I'm sorry. And even if I know that you are vibrating at a level and at a space that is contrary to how I operate and how I function, I'm 9 times out of 10 not even around you all the time. So you just decide you want to make up something and come up with a problem. I welcome the sit down. I welcome the way in which we can find common ground. I cannot wait to continue to share the science of ambassadorship so that we all can understand and function in the space, knowing that we are in the resurrection business. And we have to qualify even ourselves. So as you grow and develop, I'll say this one last thing. As we grow and develop and we look back on who we were yesterday, we look back on how we used to think about things when we were influenced maybe by a certain lifestyle or by certain people or maybe our parents or our friends. We had a certain level of influence and we was deep in that influence. And now as we grow and develop and we look back and we go, ooh, I was a little judgmental over here. I treated this person badly over here, not because it made sense to me, but because somebody told me to. We can work on that together. Don't feel bad. Just fix it. Don't feel bad. Just scrub it and fix it. Sandra D said it comes down to proper handling of people in daily life and in business. It does. And we have here on this channel a whole series that we went through on the proper handling of people, how to handle ourselves, how to handle people, how to handle our affairs. Who are you when nobody is looking? That's the question. Who are you when nobody is looking? And if in whatever capacity you have an enemy out there that decides to expose who you are when nobody is looking, will you still be the same person? Or I like to look at it like this. If you ask me who I am when nobody's looking, I will say this, that I am working on being the person that if you pull the cover off of me and see who I am when you're not looking, you will be even more impressed and in love with me, because there's so many things that I do that I don't say nothing about. And that's how we all should be, because that's how our fathers operate. There's so much. As I'm researching the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Mandine knows, you find out what a beautiful and kind person and all the different things that he's done. My brother and I were talking to somebody and they just said, you know what? This man saved my house. I was in the midst of foreclosure and he wrote me a check and saved my house. So many conversations like that, that if you pull back the cover and look at who he is when we didn't see him and when we weren't looking and when we didn't have the internet, you'll be even more impressed and more in love. And that's why I'm striving to operate in that way. Some of my friends on here, Sister Alita, she get on me like, I don't say anything. I don't talk about certain things that maybe I've accomplished or that I've done, even maybe for somebody or other people. The challenge with that, though, is that then history begins to unfold and we're left out. So at some point, we have to start documenting who we are and documenting our journeys, especially us as women. Especially us as women. But our goal should be, if somebody said, who are you when nobody is looking? When they pull back that cover, they should go, wow, you're an amazing person. I love you even more. Thank you, Sister Alita. She says yes. Yeah, I'm bad at that. I don't do a good job at sharing everything that I don't know. For some reason, I just don't. But I'm going to get better at it and start documenting and start offering up more life lessons. Because I'm telling you, when you start digging and looking at our fathers, and you pull back that cover and you say, who are they when no one's looking? You're going to be like, wow, I just discovered a treasure. And it's beautiful. Good discipline, yes. She said so bad at it. Thanks, sis. Thanks, appreciate it. But that's true. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get better. But that's the goal, right? Who are you when no one's looking? Let them come pull the cover back and they should go, oh my goodness, I just discovered a treasure. Oh my goodness. Because that's the way our fathers are. Brother Mandine says, letting people know the good you're doing may inspire others to do good as well. Thank you, Brother Mandine. I appreciate that. Thank you, Sister Alita. I appreciate that as well. Brother Orlando, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Moral of the story, lesson today. Who are you when nobody is looking? And if they come and pull the covers off of you, even if it's your enemy, they should pull those covers off and go, wow, what a beautiful treasure. That's the lesson for today, y'all. Who are we when nobody's looking? Thank you all. Appreciate you. Please make sure you support the completion of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad House. You can Cash App us at Sajdah Enterprises. You can, let's see. I didn't put that up here, and I'm sorry. I still got, I was on a business call the other day that was on StreamYard, and I'm contractually with that organization as Wendy Muhammad, and so I had to put business advisor and developer, but I was running a little late today because I was working on my ginger tonic that I didn't get a chance to change that. But I'm your host, Sajdah Wendy Muhammad. I've been talking all this time and didn't tell y'all that I got the wrong, incomplete name up there. But Sajdah Wendy Muhammad, you can Cash App Sajdah Enterprises to support the channel. You can hit that super chat. You can also use that QR code right there. That one right there. Use that QR code right now. Point your phone at it right now and go to our virtual gift shop. If you go to our website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, There's going to be a button that says vibrate with us. Go there, join the mailing list. Our February and Savior's Day schedule is about to come out, and you do not want to miss the opportunities that we're going to share with you. Use that website, go all the way down and past vibrate yourself. There's a shopping bag. Click that, go to our virtual gift shop and buy something. Okay. And if you say, you know what, I can't do all of that. I can't be a sponsor. I don't want to sponsor the house. I can't sponsor an event. Because you can do all of this great stuff. Then just go to Sajdah Enterprises, Cash App, Sajdah Enterprises, and support. All right. Y'all, freedom ain't free. It ain't. We got to support one another. You can't complain about how people getting their money if you ain't supporting them. Let's do for self. Let's get up and do something for ourselves. And that includes wanting for our brother and sister what we want for ourselves. Brother Mandine, I'm going to call you so I could come back on the show and talk about what's happening during Black History Month, during Savior's Day. I just got to finish getting it together. Thank you, each and every one of you. Thank you, Sister Sandra, for talking to us about your oud oils that you purchased. You can also get that by using the QR code. I have some steaming in the room that I'm in right now, and it gives you these vibrations. I'm telling you, you're talking about taking your spirituality to another level. Learn these little tools, right? That you can put in place of the weed. You can put in place of the medicine. You can put in place of the drinking. You can put in place of the sex. Burn some oud oil. Calm yourself down. All right, family. I love you all. Happy Saturday. And inshallah, I will see you all soon. All right. Peace and blessings. Love y'all very much. Thank you. Thank you for the comment. Let's see. Somebody just said something. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Appreciate it very much. Thank you. Thank you. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any comments. Okay. I'll see you all. Peace and blessings.